marketing analyst this week is Frayne Olson from North Dakota State. On Monday morning, we talked with Frayne about the wheat harvest outlook, global supply, and current market trends.
The crop tour we had earlier this season, as it went through Kansas and southern Nebraska and into eastern Colorado, it looked like we were going to have a fantastic wheat crop. The expectations were very high. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't always cooperated with everybody, and the top end has been taken off those yield expectations. So the current reports coming out of the winter wheat harvest is yields are good, but again, there's areas that have suffered some additional shortfalls because of high temperatures and low rainfall. So if you're lucky enough to catch the rains at the right time, yields are pretty good, but if you missed a few of those key showers, the yield potential has been down.
And obviously this is playing into what goes into the world supply, and there are concerns that the supply overall in the global scheme is going to be short. Do you have that same concern?
There are a combination of things going on the world stage. We do have some good world carryover stocks, some reserves that we can pull off of if need be. And earlier this season, again, we were looking for some very high yield expectations, not only coming out of North America and the U.S. in particular, but also out of Europe and into the Black Sea region. And the weather has, again, not cooperated as well as everybody was expecting, and we're starting to take the top end off that yield potential globally as well. So the current yield expectations on the world stage are also coming down, which should be supportive for prices.
Right, let's talk about that. What can that do for exports from the U.S.?
Well, again, as I showed last time we met, export pace out of the United States is very heavily dependent upon some of the things that are going on in our competitors or internationally. And one of those areas we need to follow very closely has been that Black Sea region. And understanding the Black Sea region has had some problems. They've had some issues with dry weather. They did catch some rain showers to help support their efforts, but that will continue to be watched very, very closely. We also have to be careful to separate that region into the two main growing regions. One of them is the winter wheat region, which is more in the Black Sea itself, in the eastern portion, and the western portion, which is really the spring wheat region, is a little bit better shape, but again, the crop development hasn't been as advanced as it is in the winter wheat region.
And what are you seeing from Canada, Frayne?
The Canadian progress, they were a little bit slow to get started, slower than we were here in North Dakota. They had some cooler weather and some rain showers come through, but they've essentially wrapped up their planting progress now, and the crop is in pretty good shape. The extended forecast looks like they will have a little bit warmer and drier conditions, which will help the Canadian crop. Again, with the development. In North Dakota here, we made very rapid planting progress. We were able to catch some rain showers, so even though the crop is very young right now, the yield expectations are pretty good.
Let's talk about the battle between fundamentals and the economy in this market, and we've talked about it numerous times in the corn and soybean market as well, but how do you see what's happening here at home with unemployment rising to 8.2% last week and the concerns in Greece and Spain weighing in on what's going on in the wheat market?
And there is this battle going on between the fundamentals, the supply and demand conditions that are looking more positive for wheat and grains in general, and some of the general economic conditions that are happening not only in the United States but also internationally. The jobs report didn't help us much. There was the expectation that would be a little bit stronger than it was, put a negative tone into the investment community, and of course the investment community now has become a major player in the grain markets. So if they think that there's optimism and they're looking for riskier investments and think that the future is more optimistic, they tend to come into the grain complex and we see prices rise. So there's this conflict between supply-demand conditions and what's happening economically. The other thing, and again it's been in the ag news as well as the general economic news for quite some time, is what's happening in Europe. There's some important elections coming up in Greece in the middle of June now, and we'll have to be watching that very closely to try and get a direction on what kind of austerity measures may or may not take place in the Greek economy. And there's also more and more focus now on the Spain's economy, which is a bigger economy in the context of Europe than the Greek economy. So there are some things we really do need to watch, and it's also very difficult to try and figure out which is playing a greater role in the marketplace. Is it the general economic conditions or is it the supply-demand conditions?
Quickly, Frayne, the extension of CME hours and ICE hours, how is that affecting trading?
For the farm, at the farm level, we really haven't seen a lot of changes yet, but those changes will be coming. At the trader level, these expanded hours have really raised a lot of questions. In particular, how is the trade going to handle these important USDA releases? Because we're now going to have the market's open during those release times. So there's still some debate on how that's all going to be taking place.